Hi art friends, this is Mrs. McCumber. So today we're going to start a new project. It is a space project. Let's see here. As you can see, it's a galaxy with these wonderful planets, and I had it upside down. Here are the mountains you can put in. I'll show you how. You can add in a spaceship if you want. And you see that the planets have this wonderful marbled look. From a distance, it looks very realistic. It's one of my very popular art projects. You do need quite a few materials, but basically it is pretty simple as long as you have paints to choose from. Now you could have these kind of craft acrylics, okay? Or you could use school tempra. Watercolor really doesn't work. However, you could use watercolor if that is all you have to make this. But the fun thing about this is the paint and how you use it. Okay, so for today, you need paint, obviously. You need some tracers or templates of circles. Now you notice that I just got some jar lids. You need some glue. You need a toothbrush that's old. You need scissors. You need a piece of white paper, okay, to make the planets on. First, I'll show you how to make the planet paper. This is the planet paper. As you can see, it's all marbly. We use the lid tracers later on to make the shapes. I'm going to clear this out so that we can get started, okay? So first off, we'll make the planet paper. Planet paper can be any size. This one is a half sheet of construction paper. I'm not sure what sizes you're going to want to use at home, but any size will do, Xerox paper, whatever. Fold your paper in half, open the paper back up, and then you can start to put tiny bits. Now, of course, you need to ask for help with your family because you might create a big mess. So prep your area. Notice that I'm working on a board. And you just put little drips of paint. You don't need much. It seems like you need much, but you'll see why you only need a little bit. I'm using all sorts of colors that I have on hand. Now remember, if you only have yellow, red, and blue, those are primary colors, you can create your other colors. Notice I'm just putting random colors, okay? Random colors on one half of my paper. I folded it in half. You can use a little bit of white. You can use brown. You could even use red. Whoop. Now see why? Talk about making messes. Mrs. McCumber's always making messes, so you have to be prepared. A little bit of black maybe. So that's enough colors. You can see I just put barely any. And I'm going to fold the paper and pull the paint. You can kind of see through, I can anyway, the paint as it's moving. Now it'll make a print. If you've ever done those butterfly papers where you open it up, this is very similar. Notice the marbling I get. Wonderful. Now, I might want to move it a little more. Now this paint looks a little different than mine example that's already dry that I showed you. And that's because this is a different kind of paint. I used the school paints that we have at school, the tempras, and those are not as thick as acrylic. So if you like it to be more model-y, just keep moving and opening and try to get it spread evenly so that you have both sides of this paper to use. Now, if you have a little brother or sister, you guys could have a ball doing this together. It's very fun. Okay? Now, you basically have the paper. I don't want to spend more time on this. Remember, I'm always in a hurry because I need a 15-minute YouTube, and that's it. So that's one step. Next step, any kind of dark paper. This is actually brown. This is black. Notice that it looks like squirted paint. You need to water your paint down. Now this is a full sheet of construction. If you want to make a big galaxy, you can, but of course, whatever you have at home paper-wise is good. If you don't have black, you could use brown as this is. You can use blue, something that's dark, okay? Now, next step, I have a little bit of white paint squirted in a bowl because I have to water it down. You don't want thick paint. You want it to be thin to show up as a splatter. Stir it up with your old toothbrush. Make sure you ask before you take stuff, okay? Because we're not going to use that toothbrush again, right? So you're going to kind of dab it a little bit and use your fingernail to make it squirt on the background piece. Okay, so you've got your fingernail, you're just squirting. Now notice that I really don't need much paint to do this, and I'm holding my paintbrush, or my toothbrush down and squirting right on the paper. Okay, if I hold it up, I'm going to get it in my face. And you kind of need to aim it at your paper so that you don't make a mess on the table or wherever you're working. Could you do this outside? Really good idea. So keep going until you have enough. Now, if you make a mistake and you get a big blob of paint, that could be a galaxy, the Milky Way, a shooting star, a comet, whatever. All right, that's prepared. Next, we will use the lids. Okay, so these are lids off of spice jars, containers, peanut butter containers. It was off of this food container. This large one was. So what you're going to do is just arrange different sizes of lids on your paper to make the planets. Now, obviously, this is dry, so you're going to have to set your things aside and let them dry before you work. Now, I like to kind of turn it over and use a pencil because it's hard to see your pencil on this paper. However, if you like to see what your planets are going to look like and you can see through your lids, maybe you want to do that, okay? Even these white spaces could be white spaces on your planets. So you can work either on the other side or this side. I'm going to go ahead and trace. Now, it's like if you ever made sugar cookies, put your planets really close together so that you can get the most out of your paper. Now, let's say that you want to have a half a planet and you want it to kind of go off of the page. So you could just trace and move the planet over. So move the lid over. Okay. So you get the idea. Then you're going to cut out carefully. Now when you cut, thumb up to cut. Now this planet's going to have to go on the edge of the paper too because I made it on the edge. Thumb up to cut. Notice the paper turns rather than the scissors. And you cut out your planets. If you have a shampoo bottle that is oval or some other interesting shape, you can use those to make a spaceship or maybe a satellite. You can use your imagination. You could look at Star Wars characters or planets and see if you want a copy. You could make a Saturn by putting extra rings around your planet through the middle. So you're going to cut, cut, cut. Now, I'm going to not take too much time doing this. You can use this for your own idea. This is enough to give you an idea of what you need to do. So I have 3 planets cut for now. Notice that you end up with these strange little extra scraps. You can use those around the bottom to make planets as if you're standing on this planet taking the picture of the galaxy of your spaceship. Okay? So notice these little extra scraps. We're going to use those. Okay, this will be an interesting one. Let me cut out this one so you can see. where to place it. All right, I'm going to move on to my dried paper. And I'm going to pick up my planets. Now, I would do much more detail than this, but I do want to make sure I get this on YouTube in one setting, one take. Now, notice that this could be a mountain, okay? So here's your mountain. Make sure that you match it up to the edge. If you glue it like this, it ruins the picture. Make sure it's straight. So quality control is important. Then you just start placing your planets. Maybe this one can be kind of on the edge of my paper. So you can see you go along and you build this. This is a very popular art project that I do often. So I could attach, I could move this over, I can layer to make it look like there's this imaginary planet where you have landed in a spaceship and you're looking off in the distance. So think about where you want your planets placed. Oops, sorry. Notice that some colors look good farther away, some close up, things that catch your eye. You can go back and look for other areas that you want to use on your paper. But this is so simple and so basic, but it always looks so good and you'll have a whole lot of fun. So again, you need some glue, okay? Now, when you glue, all you have to do is just lift up and glue, but I would place all my things first before I glued. So you're gonna lift up and glue, lift up and glue, lift up and glue. Any kind of glue, glue stick is not as good as regular school glue, Elmer's, or white Wilho glue. Lift up and glue. Get everything placed first before you're ready to glue. You can think about some planets being close to you, some planets being farther away, some planets going off the edge of the paper. Make sure if you put it on the edge that you match the edge that's straight with the straight edge on the paper. Hopefully you can see that. And have a good time enjoying yourself building a galaxy. You also could look at Art Kids Hub and see if there's any space creatures or aliens you would like to add to this. So you could draw on another piece of paper, cut out just like you did this, and embellish as you wish. Just think about size. So if an alien is standing here, he's going to be pretty big. And as he's farther away in the sky, he's going to be smaller. So as things get away from you, farther away is small, up close is big. You can think about foreground, middle ground, and background, and how you want to place your planets. Now, I would do more planets than this, but for the sake of time, I cannot. So again, you'll have scraps, you'll have interesting things you can use. You could make just a moon that's white if you want a moon that's similar to our moon. So have fun with this galaxy project. I'm sure you will enjoy yourselves with it. Thank you. Have a good day.